43 of 52 weeks of focus.
How many?
Week 43.
43 of them things. Cuz 9 weeks left.
Yep.
Whew. How everybody doing? Everybody doing all right?
Yep.
Good. All right. Late night edition. Coming off a pretty cool date weekend.
Yeah.
We've been traveling a little bit. I've been working. She's been working. So we had to make some time for us.
Yeah.
All right. Explore DC. Shout out to the
Mac
and
and
cheese.
cheese.
There was some grandmamas
That's
out there,
good.
y'all, putting their feet in them Jones.
It was great.
Great. Also, we did like the Space and Air Museum and all that good
Yep.
stuff. It's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
But we're back now.
Yep.
We're a little tired.
Yeah.
But we here, baby. We getting it. What's good? What's good? All right.
we're here.
All right. So, this week we're talking about defining difficulty. All right. Week 43 is about defining difficulty. What does that mean, Philip? Basically, there are times in our life where we kind of go through certain seasons and go through certain things in our lives, and we kind of try to label it as something. And most times, if it's different than our norm, we label it a difficulty, which has a kind of a negative connotation to it. But as we know, God works in mysterious ways. So instead of immediately tagging it a difficulty, we're going to give you some tips and some things that may help with changing your perspective of things, because again, God works in mysterious ways.
Yes,
and
he
things
does.
that seem negative may not always be negative.
Yep.
All right. So, of course, how many points we going to give them?
4.
All them things, cuz. And of course, I will actually be bringing this out in prayer after those 4 points, along with a recap. And we won't be before you long, because it's already a little late.
Yes, it is.
That's my bedtime. So,
Oh my gosh. Whatever.
but yes, of course, Victoria
bedtime.
will start us off with the first 2 quotes, and then I'll bring up the rear, and also again with the prayer at the end. And here we go. All right.
All right, everybody. For the first mini topic, it is people's opinions versus God's path. It's we also wanted to make sure we started off with the Bible verse as usual. Galatians 1:10. For am I now seeking the approval of man of God, or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Yeah, pretty much sums up what we're talking about today in one Bible verse.
Yeah.
So, who are you trying to please, God or man?
Yeah, man.
You have to consistently ask yourself that, because the approval of others can bring you down or build you up.
That's right. Sometimes you get into a habit of chasing what other folks want you to do, and you just leave your assignment just laying there chilling.
Just there.
Just because it's not necessarily what everybody else wants you to do.
Yes.
So,
So one of the biggest oppositions in our path is the acceptance of the opinions of others. So you always have, some people are open about sharing their dreams. Some people are open about sharing their goals. But as a result, there are those that are always the naysayers, are always, speaking death into your dream or death into your goal, because they, 1, may not want you to get ahead of them, or 2, there may be some jealousy there, or 3, they may not, they may just not like you.
yeah, very much. Very much.
So that's it in a nutshell on that. But you cannot let the opinions of others deter your destiny.
That's
or
right.
to stop your destiny.
Right.
Because God has a destiny for each and every one of us.
Everybody.
So accepting or even valuing the opinions of others often leads to the disobedience to God. So which path are you going to follow? The one God has laid out for you, or the yellow brick road that was built by others? And we know where the yellow brick road went.
Oh, yeah.
On the Wizard of Oz. So, although it ended up good, there were a lot of obstacles that Wendy had to go through, because she chose
Wendy.
or it's Dorothy.
Yeah, Dorothy.
Dorothy, my bad.
You got the other version. No, that's cool, Dorothy.
So People know what I meant.
They did. They probably said the same thing I did. I'm sorry, my bad, y'all.
So anyway, getting back on topic. So Dorothy faced a lot of obstacles. She faced a lot of enemies and oppositions in her way to get the wish that she wanted, which was to go home.
Right.
So you have to think of that as your path. Which one are you going to build? One that's a straight shot to your goals, or one that is the yellow brick road?
Amen.
That will cause you to go in all kind of curves, turns, thorns.
Yep.
Ugly little dragon little things flying around.
Oh yeah, the little ugly dragon / monkey joints.
Kind of scary. But anyway, so we must understand that there's a clear distinction. Let me start over. And we must understand that there's a clear distinction between how God plans and the way the world pushes us to move. So we are constantly being pulled in different directions. We're constantly have people in our ear, like I said. But what is God saying to you? What is God pushing you to or pushing you through? There may be that door in your life that keeps getting shut, but you keep trying to find a way around it because people say, no, you're meant to be a lawyer. Oh no, you're meant to be a doctor. But you feel like you're meant to be a musician, or you feel like you're meant to be an artist, or you feel like you're meant to be I don't know. A YouTube star. I don't know.
Yeah.
People have so many different goals nowadays, but you cannot let society or people deter you from your set path.
Oh yeah. But that was because I want to be married to you. Because they was like, military woman, boy, she gonna be everywhere. You still everywhere, but we making that thing work. And actually, it was way better than I thought it was gonna be. Cause we out here, anything together for the right reasons. My bad. That's another topic.
Okay, so did you have anything else to say, babe, before I moved on to topic
No, just following people's opinions often leads us away from God. I feel like God speaks to us directly, and oftentimes because we know the answer God is going to give us, and we don't want to hear it, we go to the source that is easier to hear.
Yes.
And easier isn't always better, as we will get to.
Yes. All right, moving right on into our mini point, which is point 2, which is discomfort versus divine positioning.
Hey, boy, I'm going to say that again for y'all. Discomfort versus divine positioning.
Sorry, guys, that I'm a little lack of energy right now. Just adjusting or trying to adjust my sleep pattern.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. You be surprised we had to cut the naps out.
Yeah, so just trying to get a set sleep schedule. Haven't been sleeping very
I
well.
got you, baby. We good.
And my bedtime is way later than what I'm used to.
Hey, what Ralph Andy said? Well, you weak, I'm strong. Let's get it, baby.
Pulled out the queen sugar on me. Well, anyway. All right. Starting off with Psalm 17:8. It says, "Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings."
Hey, boy.
Divine positioning.
Because, see, people going to miss that. They're going to miss that. I got you. I'm going to let you get it because I'm in trouble later. My bad, y'all.
What you were about to say, baby?
No, I was just saying that particular verse says a lot because it asks you to keep him close to you, keep him at the forefront, no matter what, right? And he also says, hide me in the shadows of your wings. So it's not saying hide God. It's saying as you also use wings and stuff to shield you. You put God in places where he will protect you. All right. That's what the metaphor is with the wings. All right. No matter what, right?
Right.
And he'll always come through to make what is meant to hurt you, help you.
Yeah.
That's the difference between discomfort, where it's a negative connotation, and we tend to get down, and we tend to just get so upset that we're not where we're supposed to be, that we miss the blessing in the position that we're in. I'm gonna go ahead because I'm gonna get to preaching. I'm sorry.
All right. So we cannot allow the smoke of discomfort to distract from our purposeful positioning God's path has for us. So we cannot let discomfort distract us from our divine positioning. There are seasons, there are shifts that happen in the atmosphere that position us to be exactly where we are supposed to be at a set time and date. And it's set like that because God has our destiny in mind. But we may experience some discomfort getting to that door. And when we experience the discomfort, we may want to turn back around and go the other way. But God is pushing us through those thorns and the bushes so we can get to the other side and find our ram in the bush.
Right.
So you have to keep that in mind when you're going through that sickness. Keep that in mind when you're losing those friends or those other significant others that you thought would be there for the rest of your life. Or it may be some opposition that you're experiencing at the job.
Right.
It went from a set schedule to stuff changing. It seems like every hour, and you are a predictable person. You like to plan everything out. But you come in and you have an outlier that kind of comes in and shifts everything around to please them.
Yeah, you know, God funny like that.
Yeah,
He be like, oh, you used to that?
Oh, you come right.
Go ahead, player.
We just turn you upside down right quick and see where you go.
Right.
So, just like when we were younger, we used to, it was usually like a field day. Like you would go up and you would like turn around on the bat.
Oh, yeah.
And
you be going that little jump like this.
And you had to go around I don't know how many times. And then you have to try to run.
You can't have a big head.
So
It's a wrap for you, bro.
So you can't let that temporary discomfort derail you from your divine position.
Right.
You have to stay focused on the prize. You have to stay focused on where you're going. So God has a tendency to create the most amazing blessings while we are under the most pressure. So it's when we feel like we are about to break that God comes through and he shows out.
I'm telling y'all, man. For real, cuz. But where was I living at when we met?
Your parents.
The crib, cuz, in Macon, Georgia. Praise the Lord. But he brought me about that thing, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
What you mean? Whoa. Now, if you ain't trying to be with the blessing in this.
What? What are you talking? Okay, anyway.
Y'all about to get a job.
Okay. So,
the blessing came at the crib and it manifested itself throughout. You know what? I'm going to just stop preaching. Go ahead, please.
All right. So, for example, also, just like a diamond is made under extreme pressure and it takes time to mold it, it takes time to shape it, it takes time for it to gain its clarity.
Right.
You are that diamond that is being molded into what God wants you to be. And you have to think of yourself just as worthy as a diamond or a rare jewel, or you are rarity because you're a child of God. And he made you in his image. So when you are molded or you feel like you fall short compared to the person that beside you, know that God is still working on you. Right. Know that God, you may be under pressure. You may be going through a test right now, but you're being molded into what you are supposed to be and what you're meant to be.
Right.
And you are being divinely positioned.
You did that.
So the design of your path is often disguised in discomfort because the blessing you are waiting on requires time, faith, and other things that you may not be aware of. So, when you have, for instance, when you've grown up with this person for, since you were in kindergarten, and you guys thought that you were going to be like lifelong besties, and you guys go to different colleges, and you don't hear from that person anymore. God may be protecting you from being hurt. God may be protecting and positioning you to meet somebody that is better for your path. Sometimes you outgrow people and that's okay. Sometimes you go through seasons where you have to prune people and that's okay. Just like a tree prunes its leaves as seasons change, like from summer to fall, you have to do that from time to time. And it may be uncomfortable and may cause a lot of discomfort, but on the other side, God will replace those people or those individuals with people that you never thought would be in your circle. So you have to stay focused, and you have to focus on the divine positioning.
Right.
And trust where God is driving you or taking you or guiding you. Just take the hem of his garment or touch the hem of his garment, and he'll guide you where you need to be.
Yep.
Did you have anything else?
Also, when it comes to divine positioning, I think a lot of people get caught up in the trap of the drug, as I call it, of comparing each other. You know, comparing yourself and where you currently are to others that seem to be in your same age range, group, social group, whatever.
Comparison syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people put themselves in a world of hurt when they try to like put themselves in perspective compared to others, because God is like so amazing. And I bring up the home thing a lot because I ended up back in Macon after having some mild success in Atlanta, and just kind of ended up back in Macon, a place I never thought it would be, right? But it was at that particular point where I made literally triple the progress in that uncomfortable place than I had made in the 4.5 years I lived in Atlanta. So God put me there. He literally put me there to like grow me and to give me the resources I needed to be the man that I wanted to be, and also the husband that I wanted to be as well. And like I said beforehand, I was just like, no, make it, no. And Macon's not a terrible place. Just for me, I didn't feel like it was a good place for me, and it was so uncomfortable. And I was living with my parents, and I was 20-something, and it was crazy. But little did I know that discomfort, that time of discomfort, was preparing me for what we have now, which is I wouldn't trade for the world. And I'm glad without Macon, or without that discomfort, without that difficult time, mentally and spiritually, I wouldn't be who I am now. You know, so it's a blessing in that discomfort. But if I would have just consistently saw it as bad place, bad place, bad place, bad place, I wouldn't have been able to see the amazingness and the anointing that was in my particular, life in that particular time. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'll turn it over to Babe for the last 2 points.
Cool. You gonna come in the camera? You kind of. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna try to make it quick because my baby getting sleepy on me. All right, so point number three is different versus difficulty. All right, I'll say that again. All right, different versus difficulty. All right, before I go into the explanation, I'll go ahead and go to the Bible verse first. So we're gonna go to 1 Thessalonians 18th verse. All right, actually, I think that's 18th verse. It's 18th chapter. Let me go ahead and correct myself. All right. And it reads, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Jesus Christ. All right. So in this particular verse, when it comes to difficulty, all right, the difference between difficulty and different is literally your perception, okay? I think many times we think we're experiencing difficulty when it requires us to keep the same amount of energy, but put it in a different area, all right? As I said before, God has a tendency of flipping us upside down. And I think we get so caught up in being flipped upside down that we forget to look at ourselves and look within ourselves to actually like go forth with what the new direction God has given us. So again, as things get more difficult, because difficult to me, in my definition, requires a higher level of energy or a higher level of like expertise or a higher level of skill. And a lot of times in our lives, it's not necessarily the level of skill, it's just the approach that we kind of get stumbled up on. So if we just simply move our mind from, dang, this is hard, to, dang, how do I figure out how to put this same amount of energy into a different direction, I think we'll be great. All right. Even in marriages, I feel like we focus so much on our own strengths that we forget to acknowledge our spouse's strengths. And then we just do it my way, do it my way, do it my way. When we can keep that same energy that we're trying to put onto somebody else and actually say, hey, look, what are you good at? And we can do this thing together. All right, not a level of difficulty thing, but it's a different type of energy, forced in a different way. All right, because together again, we good. That wasn't we all we got.
Right.
All right, but again, you have to have that understanding when it comes to God's plan for you. All right, God is never going to put too much on us that we can bear. All right, He's not going to do that to us. So when it comes to level of difficulty, it's going to be a rare time where we experience difficulty, because where our energy ends, God's begins. So He's going to make sure the level of difficulty is at our like optimal rate.
Yep.
But it's on us to figure out how to move differently in the path that He has for us, because the world's put us one way and God's put us another.
Right.
All right, and we have to choose to figure out the solution. We have to choose to put forth the right energy in the right areas. All right, God's not gonna do all the work. All right, but He is gonna make sure things aren't there to overtake us and have us looking crazy. Well, we will probably look crazy, but as far as the end result is concerned, it will be for Him and our good. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
Difference versus difficulty. Did that make sense?
Makes sense.
I'll drop a like or a comment or something if that makes sense. All right, cool. Point number 4. All right, point number 4. Point number 4 is going to be sacrifice versus the baggage check. All right. Now, this one's actually inspired by the amount of travel that for work and for other things that we've both been doing. When you have to check into an airport or checking into basically any kind of traveling vehicle, one of the first things they do is they check your luggage.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I think y'all know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to get to the point. Everything is not made for everywhere. So sometimes they say, hey, look, let me check you out. And if you have something in there that's not supposed to be in there, guess what happened to it?
It's thrown away.
You got to use it up or throw it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not a brand new thing of perfume.
Hey, I had to go through that. You had a shot? Oh, you had to do that before. I think that was a shot. All right. But, yeah, so everything can go with you everywhere. All right. And God understands that. But first, we'll go ahead and get into our verse here. And we're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. All right. And it says, since we have these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body and spirit, bringing holiness to completion in the fear of God. Here it plainly says, all right, we have to make sure that we are defiling ourselves of anything that's not good for body and spirit. Now, I laugh a little bit when I read this because it implies that we are always aware of what isn't good for us.
Right.
That's kind of funny, all right? Because, you and I both know. You and I both know that sometimes we give way to the flesh and give way to things that aren't always the best for us, okay? And us included, we've all held on to something a little bit too long, whether it be person, place, thing, boyfriend, girlfriend, something that we know that it ain't quite the best, all right? But we try to keep it along, all right? So that's when God comes in, and He sometimes gives us situations that puts us in places where we can't go on unless we drop the baggage, all right? Or take out that 9-ounce liquid substance that you can't get on the plane, all right? Or that pocket knife, or that whatever, all right? The aerosol can you can't bring on the plane, all right? He gets that out of there, okay? And sometimes we are so enamored with the unpleasant item or the unneeded item that we begin to feel like, man, I'm sacrificing this, I'm sacrificing that, and that we forget that God is in control, and anything He takes away from us, He's gonna give it back to us tenfold. Okay, so also the one of the most important things that we have to understand when it comes to sacrifice, all right, and our association with it isn't always a negative thing. Okay, I think we look at things being taken away as, wait, I got to give that up, and I got to give that up. All right, we got to change that. We got to change our perception, and make sure that anything that is lost, that is a reason why it is lost. Okay, whether it be personal reason, whether it be spiritual reason, whether it be new year, new me. All right, we have to make sure that we are keeping the proper perspective when things are changing. Okay, especially going through difficulty, because more times than not, things are difficult because we are going without something, all right, that we once had or were once comfortable with, all right? And the more and more we view things as, you know what, God is taking that out, and with the expectation of not necessarily it being replaced, but the end result being an increase for us in some way, we will it'll be easier to kind of deal with that, okay? Also, for every new thing that God does for us, okay, he will also give us something that will help us at the next level, okay, or take away something that will help us at the next level. All right, that friend, that house, that thing that you lost, all right, I guarantee you that at some point or another, you will look back and say, you know what, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for that particular thing leaving, even if it's a good thing. Like for me, it was resources. God took away certain resources for me. Again, I was in the car for a while, all right. But him taking away the things that I took for granted gave me a deeper appreciation for not only those things, but my ability to handle the particular situation, or to get through it, or to the favor that he gave me in my renewed strength through him. All right. So again, don't get caught up so much in what you're losing. Just be grateful and look forward to the opportunity to not necessarily just gain it back, but be strengthened because of the thing that you left. Okay. Did that make sense?
Makes sense.
Woo! I think we're going to have it under 30 minutes this time. All right, y'all. I know she looked at me like, you got to stop talking, though. I'm done. That's 4. That's 4 of them, all right? That's 4. That's 4. So, as a recap, so we can go ahead and get in this bed. All right, so, again, the title was Defining Difficulty, okay? Defining Difficulty. The first point was people's opinions versus God's paths, all right? So, we have to make sure that we're cognizant of what God wants us to do, and don't get caught up in following what people want us to do. Right. Oftentimes, God presents us with a plan and a path that is not the most popular, okay? It's not going to be popular. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that.
All right.
All right? But we have to make sure that we're choosing God's, like, undying, it's just crazy. His amazingness that he's placed upon us, the blessings that he's placed within us constantly, even when it's not the most popular thing. Okay? Say it again. So point number 2 was discomfort versus divine positioning. All right? God sometimes places us in discomfort to protect us from not only the outside, but also things from within as well. So if he puts you in a place that is uncomfortable, please understand that it is not punishing you. It is not putting you in a place where, like, God is like, shame, 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 shame. All right? Be willing to look outside yourself and continue to work towards what you're working towards, even though you're in a uncomfortable position, and watch how God blesses your life. I promise you. All right? Point number 3 was different versus difficulty. All right. Or I think I should have said different. Difficulty versus different. All right. Difficulty requires a higher skill level, while different requires a shift in energy or a shift in focus. Okay. Oftentimes, God puts us in positions where we have to shift our focus rather than achieve this higher skill, because He will not let anything. He will not put more on us than we can bear. Right. All right. He very rarely puts us in places where the difficulty is higher than what we can achieve. Okay. He puts us there every time. It might not look like you want to look, but that's where we have to shift our our minds, our bodies, our spirits into a different direction to put us kind of on path where God wants us to be. And number 4 was sacrifice versus a baggage check. I think that's better. Baggage check. All right. So we have to make sure that we are not looking at it as if we are losing things. All right. As just for losing sake, because we have a God that adds and takes away, and he's like the masterful, like orchestra person. What do you call it? Conductor. That's what you call them things. All right. Well, he just kind of, puts everything in perfect order. All right. And we have to make sure that we're positioning our minds, our bodies, and our spirits to receive what he is doing. But if we get caught up in what we've lost in the material, we may not be able to go on to the next, phase of our path because we're so worried about what we lost. Okay? Cool. All right. Hope everybody enjoyed. Quick prayer so we can get this one into bed. And you guys are on with the rest of your week. So, all right. Heavenly Father, thank you for this week. Thank you for continuing to give us your unmerited favor, your mercy, and your blessings. Also, God, as we go into this week, God, just help us with our mentality, help us with our perspective, and just help us keep you first. No matter what's going on in this world, we know that you are the one living King, and we'll continue to serve you and only you. Also, God, just protect our homes, our families. As Thanksgiving is coming up, we also want to say just thank you for just being you. Also, God, I pray that everybody has an amazing week, has an amazing year, amazing life. And for those that hear this and those that do not hear this, God, we pray that you just continue to look over their mind, body, and their spirit. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys. See you guys next week for week 44. 52 weeks of focus. Feel free to share our YouTube link that we post on our Facebook page. And also feel free to comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We're picking up a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, a little bit of momentum.
We're working on some other stuff. Hopefully it may be out by the first of the year, not sure.
Maybe. We'll see.
But just stay tuned. We're growing slowly but surely. And that's okay. We will get where we need to go as long as we're spreading the word of God.
That's right.
You guys have a great week. Remember to remain positive and to push through those difficult times.
Praying that something happens.
All right. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.
All right, guys, see you.